Hey, it's Cecilia. Hey, do you remember when you were a kid and you called a do-over? I don't really remember what games I used to do it in. I don't know if it's dodgeball or handball or something, but you did like a bad serve and you're like do-over and you kind of claimed your right to try again. Well, I was wondering, what if we could call do-overs as managers? I know for me, there are hundreds of things I would have called a do-over on. And in my business now, I feel like I have the opportunity to do do-overs all the time because I train online and a lot of it's on video. So if I don't like what I did, I just press stop and I get to do a do-over. In live training, not so much. In live training, I have made so many missteps. I've misspoken. I have shared the wrong thing. And it's not easy to call a do-over when you're live. Just maybe a month or two ago on one of my manager power calls, right when I started teaching, my nose started running. And I kind of looked at my desk to see if I had a Kleenex or a napkin or something, and I didn't. So I literally had to excuse myself from the live video to go into my kitchen and get a napkin. And then further on in that training, I was reading my notes and it didn't match the slide that I was looking at. And so my brain was trying to figure out why I wrote what I did in conjunction to the slide that was showing. And it could not figure it out. And you know what happens when your brain is trying on the fly to think and talk at the same time? I literally wanted to scream, "Can I have a do-over?" right in the middle of this training. So I know you know what I mean, but if we get back to this thought of can managers call a do-over? So I say absolutely, but I want to relate it to this thing that we did as a kid. So let's say you were playing handball, right? And you called a do-over. You weren't asking for permission to do the do-over. It's not like you said, "Hey guys, is it okay if I do this serve again?" No, you just said do-over, and you stepped into it and claimed and took that initiative to say, "I know that I can do better and I'm claiming my right to do so." So I think just that mindset is interesting when you think about managers and the things that you would like to do over as a manager. You don't need anyone's permission to try something again. It is your right to step into it, just like you did on the handball court. And the other thing is calling for a do-over didn't mean that you were proclaiming to the world that you were a bad handball player, that you didn't have the skill. It was almost like the confidence and knowing you could do better gave you that right to call it. So same thing as a manager. If you feel like you want a do-over, it doesn't lessen the skills and abilities that you currently have. It shouldn't make people think less of you. It actually makes people think more of you. Because if you're calling a do-over on something like, "Hey, you had a conversation yesterday that didn't go so well," or you made a decision on something and now that it's a couple weeks in, you're realizing maybe that wasn't the right thing to decide. Your confidence to step in and say, "Hey, listen, here's what happened. And now that I look at it or think on it or we're working through it, I can see that I need to make a tweak and I need to optimize and I need to step into that do-over." That means you're humble. That means you're reflecting, that you're thinking about growing, that you're optimizing. That's a good space to be in. So how does a manager call a do-over? Well, you can steal my favorite phrase in the whole world. I'm going to give it to you right now. And it's this: "I was thinking about you." Okay, I was thinking about you. And you say it in a genuine and a humble and authentic voice, not like a creepy stalker voice, because then HR has to get called in. Okay, "I was thinking about you." And here's what it sounds like. "I was thinking about you last night. You know that conversation that we had yesterday? It seemed to upset you, and that was absolutely not my goal. Can we sit down and have another go?" It sounds like this: "Hey, I was thinking about you last night. You know that decision I made for our team, it doesn't seem to be sitting well with you. Can we talk a little bit more about what my goal was and what my aim was in making that decision? Because I'd really love to hear more of your thoughts on it." Okay, so you're coming back to a person and you're saying, I was thinking about what transpired between you and I am not 100% pleased with it. It can say, hey, I was thinking about you last night. I always pride myself in being kind, and I didn't live up to that yesterday. The words I used with you were not kind, and I apologize, and I'd love for us to sit down and have another go. Right? So you can step into a do-over by saying, I was thinking about you. And what that simple phrase does is it communicates so many things to the person on your team. One, it shows that you actually think about and care about the people on your team outside of work. Okay, so outside of the 9 to 5, when I'm reflecting on how I'm showing up as a manager, I'm thinking about you, and I care about you so much that I spend some of my off time thinking about what I could do better. So it shows that you care about them. It shows that you actually do reflect, which isn't a given for all managers. So employees love to hear like, hey, my manager actually thinks about how they can do better. And not only that, they come and talk to me about it. It shows that you're capable of recognizing where you might have room to grow. So there's humility baked into that. It shows that you recognize the emotions and reactions of other people, that you have some social awareness, that you have some empathy for other people. And again, employees want to hear this. They want to know that you're a human being, that you lead with your heart. And when something comes out of your mouth or shows in your actions that doesn't entirely deliver on that, right, to set it right with them works wonders. It shows that you're willing to say, I didn't hit the bar that I set for myself. I didn't deliver on being the kind of leader that you deserve. So I was thinking about you is a beautiful phrase that is actually your chance to do a do-over. Now, it doesn't erase things like you yelled at the top of your lungs or you used every curse word in the book. I mean, come on, that stuff isn't forgiven, but it is a step in the right direction. So I encourage you to try it. And you know what? Try it at home. Try it at home. I do this with my teens all the time. Okay? Well, not all the time, but you know what I mean. When I say something to my son that doesn't come out of my mouth in the way I want it to, and I'm sitting and thinking, you know what? I ended up making him mad, or he gave me the silent treatment, and the interaction didn't really happen the way I wanted it to. I'll go in his room and I'll say, hey, you know what? I was thinking about that conversation we had earlier today. Okay? And I don't think you and I landed in a place where we were in total agreement. Can we talk a little bit more? Okay, so it really is this opening up of you to say, I want to be better, and here's how I can do it. I can do it by asking for that do-over. So, hey, managers, will you give it a try? Try it at home. Try it with an employee. The next time you misstep or misspeak, this is your call to action, okay? I was thinking about you last night. Take care.